Royal Agricultural Society's 107th annual show was held at Woollerton Park, Nottingham in July. The site covers no less than 165 acres, the largest area so far occupied by a royal show. The company's stand was amongst 600 trade stands inspected by visitors from all over the world. On the opening day, more than 11,000 people attended the show. Amongst the many makes of tractors and agricultural machinery, the Massey Harris combine harvesters, fitted with Perkins tractor-type diesel engines, have for many years been popular with farmers, both at home and in overseas countries. The recently introduced Bristol 25 tractor, fitted with its P3 diesel engine, is seen here with angle dozer equipment. On the stand of Rotary Hoe Limited, the Platypus L4-powered PD4 crawler tractor, a surprise exhibit at last year's Royal Show, again aroused considerable attention. The smaller Platypus PD2 tractor is powered by a P4 engine. The P-series Perkins diesel engine was again evident in the versatile Alice Chalmers tractor. The Road Haulage Association display a Dodge P6 powered diesel vehicle, yet another example of the wide range of applications in which Perkins engines are standard power units. A new and rather unusual exhibit in this diesel caravan, employed as a mobile headquarters by the Automobile Association. A P6 powered sedan vehicle, this is fitted with a two-way radio transmitter and a 60-foot aerial. Amongst the many exhibits from overseas manufacturers are German Lanz self-propelled combine harvesters, representative of the progress made on the continent during recent years. Some of these machines, all of which are fitted with Perkins engines, have been tried out in England during this year and have proved very successful under home conditions. Another German company, that of Class, which is steadily building a worldwide reputation in the manufacture of combine harvesters, has installed Peterborough-made diesels for many years. Farm machines from Belgium are rarely seen at the Royal, but AB Blanche & Company Limited on this occasion show this massive self-propelled combine manufactured by Usine Léon Claes of Zedelgem. Marshals of Gainsborough introduced for the first time at this show their new diesel Track Marshal crawler. This addition to the range of Marshall and Fowler machines combines the Fowler track and suspension system with a Perkins L4 diesel engine. Whitlock Brothers Limited of Essex show another new tractor, the BTG German-made four-wheel drive model. It is equipped with three-point adjustable hydraulic lift and linkage. An unusual feature of this model is that the P3 diesel engine is installed ahead of the front wheels. Now for a last look at the stand of F. Perkins Limited. Apart from working tractor units, the company show sectioned engines for the more technical of the visitors. It is appropriate that some of the many applications for which the Peterborough Company is internationally famous should be displayed at the Royal Show, largest of its kind in the world. The new post-war Eastfield Factory, with a production area of 147,000 square feet, was completed in 1947. 5 years later, the factory was doubled in size to meet the rapidly expanding production program, which included the two new additions to the range produced by F. Perkins Limited, the R6 and the L4. The continuing worldwide demand for Peterborough-made diesel engines, however, necessitated a greater speed-up in output, and almost immediately it was decided to extend the factory still further. To house the additional machinery and equipment, the building of 11 new bays, commenced in August 1954, is already nearing completion. The company's works engineering department is supervising progress of construction work by local contractors. The deputy works engineer and the contractor's general foreman are here making reference to plans of the site. All construction drawings were executed by the company's own draftsman. Inside the building, the familiar existing light green color scheme is being applied throughout. Based on a study of color dynamics, it has long proved successful. The roof of corrugated asbestos and glass may appear unusually high, but it has been the aim of the factory designers to provide as much air as possible for the operators. Apart from air, the need for natural light is also a vital one, and has been given much consideration in the design of this modern building. In the roof and windows, approximately 80,000 square feet of glass will be used. Concrete foundations are laid before fitting the 2.5-inch woodblock floor. This type of flooring is used throughout the entire Eastfield factory. Thin strips of wood, called spacers, are placed between each row of blocks. This ensures correct positioning and also allows the bitumen or tar to seep into the crevices and bind the blocks. Wood block flooring has many advantages, including absorption of vibration and longer wear. It also contributes greatly to the comfort of machine operators. Though at this moment the building is incomplete, the work of plant engineers must go on. They are already assembling the many pieces of this giant engineering jigsaw. The position allocated to each piece of equipment is clearly marked out. Planning the layout of machinery months ahead facilitates speedier installation as the site of each machine becomes available. They are so arranged as to ensure maximum working space and freedom of movement for the operators. This practice is adopted throughout the whole of the Perkins factories. The crankshaft grinding section, a completely new project, is being launched in this part of the extensions. This machine, the latest of its type and the first to be installed, is here undergoing tool tests. With other crankshaft grinding equipment, it will, in a very short time, be making its contribution to the company's vast production program. Vehicles powered by Perkins engines have delivered much of the materials used in construction. It is significant that engines built in the old factory are now playing a part in the construction of the new one. The immense task of adding 11 new bays has drawn on the resources of a small army of technicians and craftsmen of many trades. This impressive aerial view of the ultra-modern building at Eastfield illustrates the rapid expansion necessary to meet the ever-increasing demand for Peterborough-made diesels. This factory already produces diesel engines for 402 different power applications, and records show that these are now in use in 143 countries. What is it that attracts you most when you join the crowds at the seaside? If you seek thrills and excitement, what could be more exhilarating than a trip in a high-powered speedboat? Putting greens and palm court orchestras, or even the botanical gardens, are merely pale substitutes for this particular type of pleasure. This sleek craft provides enjoyment for hundreds of holiday visitors to Yarmouth. Here is streamlined grace combined with surging power. Power provided by two Peterborough-made S6 marine-type diesels. As the throttle is opened, the twin screws churn the water and the bow rises under the thrust from the powerful engines. Skimming the waves, the boat twists and turns to the delight of the trippers. No quiet snooze in a deck chair or stroll along the promenade for this high-spirited group. The salt spray stings their faces. Makeup runs riot and hairstyles go haywire. Summer frocks get thoroughly soaked, but nothing dampens their enthusiasm. The wetter they get, the more they seem to enjoy it. This experience will provide at least one breathtaking moment among many holiday memories. Installed in numerous types of marine craft, Perkins' high-quality diesel engines prove their versatility afloat. Situated in the heart of the fen country, Wisbech is the largest strawberry-growing area in Britain. Representing well over 5,000 productive acres from Cambridgeshire, Lincolnshire and Norfolk, the Wisbech area, as it is known, attracts hundreds of strawberry pickers, including housewives, holidaymakers and students from many distant places during the main harvesting months of June and July. The two principal varieties grown in the Wisbech area are the Huxley, previously known as the Brenda Gautry, and the Climax, both famous for their good quality yield. As the strawberry chips are weighed and each picker's collection checked for later payment, a mounting supply of fruit becomes available every day for removal to canning factories in various parts of the country. A considerable proportion of the crop is processed by companies in the district, including the old established well-known fruit and vegetable canners Smedley's Limited of Wisbech. A seasonal industry such as this obviously depends on the weather for ripening, yield and the quality of the crop. An early cold spell can restrict the growth of the strawberry. A surprise pocket heat wave may produce too rapid ripening. This underlines difficulties facing both grower and canner. Urgency in harvesting what may be a bumper crop, and ability to cope with all the processing requirements of a highly perishable produce. From the time of collection and dispatch to the canners, the tempo of operations steadily increases. Consignments of strawberries direct from the fields arrive here at Smedley's main factory at Wisbech, either by the company's own transport or by the growers' vehicles. All fruit is taken into cold storage on arrival, then used as required. Delivery and storage is normally regulated so that only sufficient fruit is left over from one day to provide work until fresh fruit arrives next morning. But overabundance of fruit can produce a situation which calls for speedy organization by the transport manager and a rerouting of vehicles to Scotland and the company's factory at Dundee. At the climax of a good season, when yields are averaging from 2.5 to 3.5 tons per acre, the risk of an accumulation of strawberries temporarily exceeding factory capacity must be dealt with promptly. In order to facilitate the earliest processing of surplus fruit, the transport manager has at his disposal a fleet of Perkins powered vehicles, ready to make the long haul to the Dundee factory. We now see the commencement of such an emergency journey involving an 800-mile round trip and demanding from the loaded vehicles almost continuous running for 36 hours. The Smedley fleet of diesel engine transport includes P3, P4, P6 and R6 installations, ranging from 2,500 weight personnel carriers for local and factory use to 7-ton lorries. A marked saving in fuel consumption plus reliability has been achieved since they started operations. So to Scotland, with a change of drivers in the night, on to the final destination, Dundee. Processing the strawberries follows the same rapid pattern whether at Dundee or here at Wisbech. Every hour, a woman can handle approximately 34 pounds of plugged fruit, namely strawberries with the stalks removed. Many nimble fingers select the choicest fruit for canning. The remainder is used for jam making. All cans are check-weighed and inspected before moving along a continuous conveyor system to be topped up with boiling syrup. The lids are then code marked with a batch number and seamed on the cans. The sealed cans are next cooked to sterilize the contents and cooled. Both operations take place in this newly installed sterilizer, one of two, each capable of handling 100,000 cans a day. Throughout production in the factory and until dispatch, careful and constant laboratory checks are made. 10 to 12 samples are taken every hour to keep a uniformly high quality standard. Now to the finishing stages, in which the cans are labeled, checked, and packed in cartons. Throughout the whole series of operations, the key word is speed. For speed prevents the strawberries becoming soft and losing the flavour only very freshly picked fruit retains. The total time taken for it to pass through the factory has been little more than 1 hour. Now the various stages are complete, and it's back again to the fields for still more strawberries, for fruit that can be picked, collected, processed, and on the road in 24 hours to shops everywhere, here or abroad. Whatever the next harvest may be, the diesel engine transport keeps the company's canned fruit and vegetable products on the move all the year round. Near the Northamptonshire town of Kettering, and occupying 100 acres of delightful open spaces, stands Wickstead Park. Dating from the period of the First World War, the park has continuously developed through the years into the attractive recreational centre it is today. Situated in the quiet, flower-filled sunken garden and presented by the people of the district is a memorial to the donor and founder of the park, the late Charles Wickstead. The happiness of children. Here indeed, in glorious profusion, are all the mechanical means to delight the eye and excite the imagination of the thousands of visiting children who come to play each year. In addition to expressing the wish that admission to the park should be free, the founder gave much personal attention to the design of these amusements to make them strong, safe, and damage-proof. Still manufactured at the engineering works he established at Kettering, they are now installed on many playgrounds at home and abroad. Not every enjoyment is confined to swings, slides, and seesaws, however. One of the most popular pleasures is to take a trip round the park on the miniature lakeside railway. This was the last of Charles Wickstead's many far-seeing enterprises before his death in 1931. The carefree atmosphere pervading every activity is very well typified here. Parents join with children in taking their seats before leaving for a novel ride past the park's many varied attractions. One train alone is hardly ever sufficient to cope with all the eager passengers waiting at the station, and the romantically named Lady of the Lake operates with a second engine, King Arthur, on this busy day-long service. The two 33-year-old locomotives, both originally petrol-driven, have been powered for the past 3 years by Perkins P3 diesel engines. From their introduction, they have achieved a fine record of trouble-free starting and impressive pulling power. The railway engines weigh approximately 3 tons each, and the carriages a further 3 tons. So every journey over the 1.5-mile circuit means a pull of 6 tons plus anything up to 100 passengers. These sturdy locomotives, operating 7 days a week during the peak season from June to August, have carried 300,000 people in 1 year. From railways to railways, but of a different kind. The miniature car track is a more recent addition to the children's amusements. Yet, who knows, already the park may have inspired a second Stirling Moss or Sheila Van Dam. Paddle and rowboats can be maneuvered with complete safety in the shallow pond, while Dad has plenty of scope to relax, or more likely row, on the nearby lake. One of the biggest thrills in the summer months is provided by this water chute, which never fails to attract the more adventurous spirits who eagerly await their turn. Here we go again. Just one big splash after another. But somehow, nobody ever seems to get wet. That is achieved much more thoroughly in the children's paddling pool. In the background, motor launches cruise on the lake, accompanied by gracefully moving swans. This brief visit can give only a momentary impression of the many things to see and do at Wickstead Park. As the time comes to leave, we are able to take a final look at one of the two diesel-engine trains. Still filled to capacity, they play their own particular part in making a reality of the dream of Charles Wickstead. Every happy scene in this park is a living testimony to its founder and donor, the man who delighted above all things in the happiness of children. If you can't get a house, try building your own. This is the motto of a group of company employees who started the Peterborough Self-Help Housing Society in 1952. The idea of the scheme is that each member works during his spare time, guaranteeing to contribute at least 18 hours a week. Some have put in as many as 40 hours a week. Building commenced in March 1953, and now the scheme is complete, and the 28 houses are already occupied, with the exception of the last one. They are semi-detached, consisting of 2 reception rooms, a kitchen, 3 bedrooms, bathroom, and a built-on garage. To complete the program within the time schedule, it was necessary to employ professional help on the internal plastering. Brick and tile laying required full-time outside assistance. Otherwise, the group has provided its own plumbers, electricians, carpenters and joiners, painters and decorators, with the remaining members responsible for the general labouring. So to the finishing touches being made outside the last house, soon to be handed over. In a marquee erected in the garden, a ceremony takes place to mark the presentation of the key to Mr. Wilfred Guthrie, employed in the welding department at Eastfield. Mr. Luther Jones, chairman of the Housing Society, is the first speaker from the platform, followed by the Mayor of Peterborough, Lady Benstead. The Mayor's speech ends with congratulations to all concerned for their determined enterprise. When the moment arrives, long awaited by Mr. Guthrie, to receive the key from Lady Benstead and open the door of his new home. As many of the interested onlookers take the opportunity to inspect the house, the camera visits next door to meet the Mawson family. Although they moved into their new home only a week or so ago, there is a settled-in look about the house. Mrs. Mawson is proud of her new kitchen, light, airy, and pleasant enough for the baking of any cake. Even washing up appears a less unattractive chore for elder daughter Cecilia. For Mr. Mawson, a toolroom employee at the Eastfield Factory, there is a visitor. Paying a neighbourly call is Mr. Guthrie, with the typical spirit of friendship which the last 2 years of house building has produced. Busy with building problems of his own is young Robert Mawson, and Mr. Guthrie is able to offer his experienced advice. For the youngest lady in the Mawson household, it's up the brightly lit and newly painted wooden hill to Bedfordshire, with all the additional fascination of still unfamiliar surroundings. Don't let Mummy know, but this is great fun. Well done, made it at last. And so indeed have all the members of the first Self-Help Housing Society. Their untiring and united efforts have been well rewarded, and greatly helped by every encouragement from Mr. Frank Perkins and his co-directors. Already, a second society has been formed, so good luck to its endeavours and the 24 houses its members intend to build.